Good morning, my friends. How are you guys doing? I hope you are all well. My name is Rabbit, and welcome to episode number 9 of Let's Play Through Final Fantasy Origins, specifically Final Fantasy 1 on the PlayStation 1. In our last episode, we had parted ways at the end of a fight. Well, actually, I think it was the start of a fight, so let me check myself before I wreck myself. But either way, we were in the midst of combat as we were making our way to this mysterious castle here on the continent, because we did learn from one of the inhabitants of Elfheim that there was something else here that's a little bit spooky, a little bit creepy, and he had run away from it. So I wanted us to take a look at it before we went onwards into what awaits us in terms of story progression anyway. So we are here. I brought you guys back, cut out all of the unnecessary fights. So let's go ahead and head in. Oh, but before I forget, what am I thinking? I have to, of course, share with you guys that everyone did end up hitting level 8. I did run back and rest up at the inn just so that we were in a little bit of better shape. You never know what awaits you on the other side of, I guess, a castle door. So I wanted to go ahead and make sure we were set up for success. And then in the process of going back to town to rest up at the inn, well, first let me let you guys see the status pages. So you'll see what everyone's level 8 stats look like with the equipment that they do currently have in tow. Burl looks exactly the same, minus, of course, the addition of a level. Now, where you are going to see some changes is with Melvin and Tyrone, because I did go ahead and purchase those copper armlets for them. I will make sure that both Burl and Rohit end up with a copper armlet as well, and I'll show you guys exactly the stat changes that these two mages did see from me purchasing and equipping these things to them. So let's quickly just take a look at it for those of you that love being meticulous and you like calculating all the differences. Here is the change that you can see with the copper armlets addition, or I guess I should say specifically with swapping out the shirt for the copper armlet. There was a 3-point increase to defense. That'd be terrible if it gave us a 3-point decrease. I would certainly not purchase this if that was the case. But anyway, there is a 3-point increase to defense, and then there was a 1-point increase to evasion. So it was actually a very nice addition to both of our mages here. So same situation, but I just want you to be able to actually see it on camera instead of just taking my word for it. I know I like to kind of see those stat changes when I'm watching people play games, so thought I would let you guys participate in all of the rearranging of equipment by looking at those screens. But that is everything that took place without you. We are here on the Western Keep. Let's head northward into the castle and just see what awaits us, because oh gosh, so creepy. Looks like there's a bat. Can we talk to it? Key, it says. Oh gosh, this place is certainly in a state of disrepair, but I think we were told as much by that elf. This other bat says key. Nothing new, nothing novel, nothing extraordinary to contribute. Another bat saying key, but oh my gosh, listen to this music. I'll be quiet for just a second. I really like this song, you guys. It's so pretty. A little bit eerie, but not that unnerving. It's almost peaceful. Okay, so every bat we have encountered has just said key. Don't know what that means. Maybe they'll talk to us eventually. Oh, we can't go into this door because it is locked with the Mystic Key. So this makes the 3rd location where we've been unable to access what is behind certain doors. So we'll want to keep this in mind. We know we need to go back to Cornelia. There was a spot in the Temple of Chaos, and then now there's one here in, what is this, Western Keep, I think is what this is called. Yes, it is in fact called that. So let's check out this other door that is over this way. I don't see anything else for us to access or tinker with, so let's just go northward and, oh, is this a king? He says Astos has taken all that belonged to this castle. Please go to the cave in the southern marsh and find the crown. Only the crown can restore this castle. Well, we've heard quite a bit about this fella named Astos. It seems like he really has wreaked havoc in Elfheim by putting that prince to sleep, and now this poor king is saying everything has just been looted and destroyed by Astos here. So I don't really know who this Astos person is and where we're going to find him, but we know we need to get a crown in some sort of southern marsh. So I guess we should just head on in that direction. or it seems as though we should, friends. But actually, this episode will probably be a shorter one. Oh gosh, I can't even, I can't exit through the actual doorway because this place is so dilapidated and such an absolute mess. That is not the case. We cannot just use normal entrances. We'll have to go out the sides. Anyway, we will run back together to the town of Elfheim, and actually that is where we will part ways. This will probably only be like a 13-14 minute long episode. I guess depends on how many fights we get into. We will run all the way back together, and actually I want to take this as an opportunity to reiterate something that I had presented to you guys before, that I like at this point in the game to go back to a specific area to do a bit of grinding, to do a bit of leveling, because we are going to want to amass a certain, how should I say this? I want to amass a decent enough amount of gold to purchase certain spells and to really get my team set up to properly tackle this section that awaits us. I think if you ask anyone who has played the original Final Fantasy, whether it was just one time playing with family or, you know, they played it a few times and just struggled their way through, regardless of the experience, I think a lot of people will tell you that what awaits us, this marsh that was referenced by this king where we need to obtain a crown, it's a bit of a bear. I would say a lot of people truly consider it to be one of the most difficult sections of this game, and it's not difficult in terms of the puzzles being very just cryptic or, you know, enemies being ridiculously challenging, but there's a lot that's kind of thrown your way. A lot of status ailments can be inflicted upon you, and I'm particularly concerned just about the lineup that I've got. You know, again, I've mentioned this at least 4, if not 5 times by now. Our team is exceptionally magic focused, so our defenses are not the best, and it's not a secret that that's the case. So I want to take the necessary steps. I want to take the necessary time and invest in building my team up, adding a little bit of meat to their bones, getting all of the equipment that I can to make this upcoming area as easy for me to navigate and palatable for you guys to watch me navigate as possible. So it is going to take a bit of a time investment on my part, but again, it's certainly not something you guys have to watch me do in its entirety, but I am going to show you at least the steps that I like to take to prepare my team for what awaits. And I might need to tweak it a little bit because, like I mentioned, our team is weaker than what I normally opt for, but I think we will be okay. I'm not sure. I'm a vet to the game in the sense that I've played through the original NES title a few times, but I don't know enough to really tell you guys 100% what is the absolute full-fledged best way of tackling every single dungeon, every single boss. That's just not how I tend to structure my playthroughs, but I guess we'll see. That might be a good thing in that it will allow for a bit of wiggle room and a bit of creativity in terms of the lineup, but it could be absolutely devastating as well, where we're going to really struggle in this next section. I don't know what to anticipate, but we will certainly find out together. And I know everyone's poisoned. Well, not everybody, but we do have 2 people that are poisoned. So I probably should take the time to go ahead and remove this. I'll just buy more antidotes later on. But it feels bad, friends, to have to really use all of those consumables. They're just so expensive and money's hard to come by. But I think we're okay in terms of what we've got with our assets and what we've got with our income. You know, our gil is not the greatest, but it's certainly not the worst that I've been at. And a few other playthroughs, you know, on my own on the NES card, I just kind of rush through things and it makes for a worse time. I think playing on this mode, again, I'm just hypothesizing, I've never played through Origins before, but I'm guessing easy mode probably either increases the gil gain from fights, or it lowers maybe the difficulty of fights, so you don't need to even really mess around too much with grinding. Oh my gosh, an ogre chieftain. I don't think we've seen this before. I'm a little concerned about Rohit, so let's try to help a brother out, throw an invis on him, because if they're going to focus him down, I would rather them miss more often than not. But they're not even really concentrating on him, so maybe that was a wasted spell. But we're close enough to Elfheim to where I'm not going to worry too much about it. We'll sleep at the inn. I'm going to show you guys the spells that I want to pick up in order to prepare us for where we will be going next in order to let me decide what I'll do. I don't think a silence is going to be good. We'll just go all in. I'll throw another fire out. I think we're fine. Woo, I think we're fine. No promises there, friends. No promises there at all. But I will show you guys the spells that I intend to pick up that I think will set us up to properly navigate this section that I like to go to for my grinding. Oh, I did not mean to click on items. Let me correct myself here. In order to grind for a certain amount of gil so that I can get all the spells that I need and all the equipment I need prior to us going to this marsh that was mentioned by that king. So in addition to finding this random crown that he mentioned, we do know we still need to help this Matoya witch lady with sourcing her crystal eye because she can't see anything, but we've learned that she concocts potions. We don't know yet what purpose she's going to serve, but I think we can guess that it's going to be an important one, at least in terms of us progressing through the narrative. So we want to keep our eyes out for anything related to a crystal eye, and woo, almost 700 gil. We were only 10 shy. That's not a bad pickup, friends, not at all. So let's go ahead and just do our best to get where we need to go. I'll go ahead and, well, you know what? Screw it. We're close enough to where I don't think I need to worry that tremendously about anybody dying. And if someone does die, I'll be doing a lot of grinding off camera anyway, just to even get the spells that I'm going to need for us to do the major grinding to get the spells and equipment we need to prepare ourselves for the marsh, if that makes any sense. It'll make, I think, more once you guys see this area that we'll be going into. Won't be, oh my gosh, it won't be this next, well, maybe it will be this next episode. We'll see. I think this episode is devoted just to us looking at the castle, making our way back, and me kind of describing a little bit of my scheme, my strategy to move us forward. Our next episode will actually show you guys where I'm going to go to do a lot of my grinding and what tools I'm going to bring with me to achieve my goals from the grinding that I'm about to undertake. And then I guess when we, probably when we come back in episode number 11, that's where we'll see the actual marsh, and it will make sense why I put forth so much energy, so much time into doing all of this and showcasing all of this. But okay, we are here in Elfheim. We do have 2,558 gil, which might seem like a lot, but it's actually not that much for what we're going to need. Well, really quickly, let me just assess our status pages here. So Rohit's okay, Burl's okay. Burl's not too far from hitting level 9. I'm going to want to probably get everyone up to level 9 before I advance to where I need to go, but that's neither here nor there. I'm going to have to get a bit more combat time in order to really prepare myself for what's ahead. But first things first, before we part ways, let me just introduce to you guys the spells that we're going to want to have in tow before we head to my little grindy spot, or my training grounds, if you will. We'll just refer to it as such. So we are going to want to pick up Fire 2. I ultimately am going to want to have this on both Tyrone and Rohit, but let's just, for the sake of purchasing it, throw it on Tyrone. The description says that it inflicts 30 to 120 fire damage, and I do want to highlight for you guys that as a level 3 spell, and it being Fire 2, this is an AoE, so this is going to be very nice in terms of us not just feeling like we're wasting one charge per enemy. This is going to help clear waves and just make grinding and just progression much more, I guess, accessible to us. So I'm going to go ahead and throw this on Tyrone, that Fire 2 spell. We're going to want that. We're also going to want to head over here to the level 4 white mage shop, which I think was on the other side of this river. I think the one that's southward of Rohit is the level 3. Don't hold me to that. Let's take a look here. Okay, so I was correct and my memory is not too garbage. We are going to also want Null Ice, and it doesn't really matter who you throw it on as long as somebody gets it. It is 4,000 gil though, so obviously I'm going to need to spend a little bit of time grinding, which is what I was telling you guys. I am going to go ahead and part ways with you a little bit prematurely, but I think it's okay. We've had a few episodes that are a wee bit on the longer side, so keeping this one around 15 minutes should be okay. But just to go ahead and describe to you guys my intentions, and I will recap everything when we do come back together in our upcoming episode, but I'm going to amass enough gil to afford null ice, which reduces ice damage by 50% if you look at that little description bar at the very bottom. I'll throw this on someone. I really only need one person to have it, but we'll see how I feel if I want to put it on Rohit as well. More than likely not. So we want fire 2 and we want null ice. That is going to help prepare us to go to my little training grounds area, and ultimately the training grounds where I will head has some enemies that will award us quite a bit of gil. They will award us quite a bit of experience, and that is going to propel us forward, maybe more than we need to be, but I think it will get us to where we ultimately want to be in order to tackle the dungeon that awaits us in terms of narrative progression and plot progression. So we'll look at all of this in our upcoming episode, but for now, friends, I've shared with you guys my current strategy just to get the spells that we want. I might pick up another copper armlet or two if I get a little bit of extra gold, but we'll see where I'm at here in just a bit. But either way, that is all I have for you. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Rabbit. This is my playthrough of Final Fantasy Origins, specifically Final Fantasy 1 on the PlayStation 1, and I am so grateful to have you guys along for my very wonky, probably ill-planned and ill-structured journey. We're gonna see how this team is gonna carry me into the late game. I feel at moments very strongly and confidently about the lineup, but then there are moments like right now where I'm waffling and wavering a little bit, but I think we will be okay. We'll just have to see. We'll have to see. But until we know for sure, friends, take care, be good, and I will see you in just a moment in our upcoming episode.